Okay, so in 4.3.1 and 4.3.2, we're going to be talking about two different topics. The first one is custom properties. So we're only going to do a really quick summary of what that is. And then we're going to be talking about methods, which are a really important and powerful tool that's used in programming that we're going to just dip our toe into. We're not going to be creating our own methods yet, but we're going to be just starting off by explaining what they are. Okay, so let's start off by talking about custom shapes and app properties. Okay, so if you remember from earlier in the course, there's a lot of information about properties, right? So we have custom parameters. We have parameters like center X and center Y and radius, right? If I'm creating a circle, that are required parameters, things that I have to put into the program, right? There are also optional parameters like fill and border and opacity and rotate angle and whether or not the border has dashes and visibility, right? These are all parameters that we're allowed to use, okay? So these are all built into the program that we're allowed to use, but that's not necessarily everything that we're ever going to want to use, that we're ever going to want to know about a circle, right? So for example, right, I might want to track how frequently a specific circle has been clicked, right? So what I can do and I'm going to go right to our sandbox and we'll take a look at it there, right, is I can create a circle. Let's create a regular boring old circle, right? We're going to do it 200, 200, radius 50, okay? And we'll make it fill red, okay? So regular boring old circle, you can see very similar to the one that's already on the screen here, fill equals red in quotes, okay? So when I run this, there it is, boring circle, nothing exciting, okay? So I just created this circle, I created this object, and I now have 4 parameters. I have a center X, a center Y, a radius, and a fill. Those are 4 properties of this circle, right? I can now create additional properties, custom properties, things that I want to track about this shape that are not already pre-built in by CMU, okay? So the first thing I need to do here is I need to create a variable to store this circle so that I can refer back to it and add some custom properties. So we're going to call this red circle, right? So I just created a variable. So we're taking this red circle and we're storing it in a variable called red circle, right? Use your good naming conventions, right? And now what I can do is I can say, let's take red circle, and now let's add a custom property called clicks. So I'm going to say dot clicks equals 0, okay? And now, okay, I have a custom property. That's all we have to do, right? So what I can do is I can say something like def on mouse press, and we'll say mouse X and mouse Y, okay? Put our colon at the end, okay? So good syntax. And what I can do is I can say every single time the mouse is pressed, I'm going to take red circle dot clicks, okay? And I'm going to add 1 to it. So we'll say plus equals 1, right? And so this is going to be tracked only for red circle. It's going to be stored with all the rest of this information, and it's going to be tracked as we go, right? And that might be something fun. Like let's try something. Let's add some opacity onto the end of this. We're going to add the opacity and start off by setting it to be 0, okay? And we're going to make this mouse clicks go up by 10 just so we're not sitting here forever, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take red circle dot click, and I'm going to add 10 to it. Okay, and then I'm going to update opacity. I'm going to say red circle dot opacity is going to be equal to red circle dot click, right? Whatever's currently being stored in this click value, we're going to update the opacity. So let's see what happens. So now when I click, no such attribute red circle dot clicks. Oh, clicks with an S, okay? So be careful of your syntax, right? It's got to match our custom name, which was called clicks, okay? So now when I click run, now when I click, you can see that it's slowly adding 10 to my custom property, okay? And then because this custom property started off at 0, and then it went to 10, and then it went to 20, and then it went to 30, what I'm doing on my second line here is every single time I press the mouse, I'm resetting my opacity to be red circle dot clicks, right? Whatever value is being stored here is also going to be saved into the opacity, right? So you might be thinking, well, this is pretty trivial. Why don't I just update opacity? Yes, that's absolutely true for this example, but what I'm trying to show you is that I was able to create this thing called red circle dot clicks, my custom property, and then I was able to use it within my program, within my functions, to accomplish some kind of goal, right? So yeah, I know we could have just updated opacity here, but you can see, I just want you to see how it could be useful down the line if I wanted to update some information, that we can create a custom property like red circle dot clicks, right? And we can update it. Okay, so that's all like custom shapes and app properties are. We can do the same thing for the app object, right? So if I wanted to update the background and say app.background equals, right, I can create some custom properties just for the entire program instead of a specific object like a circle.